Alright, this is going to be the inclusive tutorial on how to set up Portal speedrunning. It's going to go over a wide variety of topics, but basically the foundations of what you need to get started. Sorry if I sound kind of tired. I've tried to record this before, but do not fret. I will still go over all the steps in detail. I'm going to have some timestamps up on the screen for individual sections, but starting, I guess, right now, I'm just going to go over everything in order. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to download Source Unpack from here. I'll put it in the description. sourceunpack.gameabusefastcomplete.com. Download Source Unpack version 2.4. Do not worry, this is not pirating. You need to own the game on Steam to be able to launch the game from Unpack. So there's no issue there. Download it. This is what it's going to give you. The first thing I'm going to have you do is go into HL2 add-ons, and there's going to be something called speedrun_demorecord-2007.dll. I'm going to need you to put that into Unpack and then drag it into Portal. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a plugin called spt.dll. I'll have it linked in the description, but it's basically just this page. Click spt.dll, it'll download it, press keep, and drag it into unpack/portal. That stands for source pause tool, by the way. All right. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to double click portal.bat. It's going to open up to something like this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into options, go into keyboard, advanced, and make sure enable developer console is on. And then just as you would in any game, adjust these binds as you see fit. So instead of maybe E as you use F, I know someone uses spacebar, just adjust it how you see fit. I'm going to go into a map just to show off some of the commands that we're going to be having to use. So, once you get into the game, I'm going to need you to figure out what sensitivity suits you best. I've found that 1.8 suits me best with 800 DPI, but it's different for every individual, obviously. If you've played Counter-Strike or TF2 or Portal 2 in the past, it'll be the same sensitivity as that. So if you want to go into that game and find the sensitivity you use, then it'll transfer into this game flawlessly. The first thing I'm going to have you bind is jump to the mouse wheel. So we're going to hit tilde, which is to the left of 1, I know on QWERTY keyboards in the United States and Canada. We're going to hit the tilde key, and it's going to pop up the console. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to type bind M wheel up, and then in these like air quotes, plus jump, with a closing the little floating thing. And then we're going to bind M wheel down to do the same, plus jump. You'll notice now if you scroll your wheel in both directions, you'll be spamming jump. This allows for much easier bunny hopping and ABHing, which is something you'll come to learn if you watch the tutorials. So that's the first bind. The second bind is going to be a save quick bind and a load quick bind. This allows us to basically go back in time to try tricks again. So I'm going to give you an example here. If I click my save bind, it'll say saved. And then say oh no, I messed up a trick. If I click X, which is my load bind, it puts me back here, which allows me to try the trick over again and say I get it this time. Then once I get it, I can save so that I know if I hit my load bind accidentally, I don't have to do the trick again. So the bind that describes this function is bind and then a key. I use Z. And then in floaty things, save quick. And then the loading feature is behind bind. I use a key X, load, and then that same save name, load quick. So when I click Z, which is my save quick button, it'll make a save file called quick. Then if I move around and I hit X, it'll load the save called quick, which allows me to do a trick again. Maybe I accidentally went out of bounds when I'm playing inbounds, something like that. The next command I'm going to be using is exclusive to out of bounds and inbounds, which is the save quick and load quick bind, which allows you to get save glitch in certain spots. I can give an example right here. Say you want to get save glitch and you get into this position. Instead of having to click save, your save and load, you can just hit one button, which does both of them for you, which saves a little bit of time. Not only saves a little bit of time, but allows for easier maneuvering as you don't have to piano your fingers across the keyboard. The command that encompasses this is bind a key, I use C, to save glitch, doesn't matter what you name it, and semicolon, load glitch. You have to make sure that these two are the same name because you're saving a file and then loading the same file. So you'll notice if you hit it then, nothing really happens. But you see, if I were to get into an edge glitch position and then do it, I'm suddenly save glitched. I didn't have to click my save key and then my load key. I just had to click one of them, which saves a little bit of time and allows for ease, as I've said before. The last command that we're going to manually put in is a sensitivity bind. I have it to tab, but the reason we're going to do this is, say I am in map test chamber 03, which is 6-7. This is exclusive to this one spot, by the way. There's this seam shot here, which you'll learn about if you were to play out of bounds, which I suggest. See? I had to lower my sensitivity so that I could accurately line this up. You'll see if I hit tab, it lowers my sensitivity, which allows me to aim to line this up better because of how perfect it has to be. If I were to try to line it up with this, it's basically impossible because of like my hand movements, things like that. So the way you're going to do this is I use tab to toggle this sensitivity bind, although you can use two different buttons to set to a lower sensitivity and then back to your normal. I suggest a toggle bind because you can just hit it twice and it goes back to normal, or hit it once to change it and then again to set it back. The way you're going to do this is bind a key, I use tab, to toggle sensitivity, and then your initial sensitivity that you use, I use 1.8, and then the sensitivity you would set it to, which is, I'm going to set it to 0.01 so that I can get pretty maximum accuracy. You see there's a space here. You don't have to put a semicolon if you're just putting two different values. And then what that does is, if you notice, you hit space, or hit tab, and then move your mouse. It lowers your sensitivity, you hit it again, and it puts it back up to what you originally were using. So those are all the commands exclusive to actually playing the game and doing the different categories. The way that we time runs in Portal and in all speed games is using Livesplit. It's an application used specifically to time speedruns, and there's a part of it which allows us to time Portal runs. It's an auto splitter, which means we don't have to actually do the timing ourselves. The program will do it for us. So, if you go to livesplit.org, you'll be faced with this page. If you go to downloads and then you download the most recent version, it'll give you a zip file which you can extract to your desktop anywhere. And then if you go into that file, you'll find an exe. Double click that, and it'll give you something that looks like this. It's just a timer. This in itself isn't that useful. I mean, I guess you could time your chicken in the oven with it, but I wouldn't suggest it. What we're going to also do is we're going to go to the resources tab of the Portal Speedrun, speedrun.com page. We're going to download the Portal splits. LSS is just the file extension for Livesplit splits. So if you find that download location and then you put it into, here, let me go to my desktop because that's where I have Livesplit at. If you take this file and you drag it into splits, then you right-click on Livesplit, open splits from File, and then you find the thing you just dragged in, Portal Inbounds, and you open it. You won't have something that looks like this because I have edited my layout, which you can do. You can make your you can make your layout look pretty. Doesn't really matter. You'll have something that looks like this. The first thing that we're going to have you do is right-click it, click Edit Splits. Make sure that the game name is Portal, because that allows for you to activate auto-splitting. Once you click Activate, the game will automatically start timing and splitting and going to the next level on the timer when you go into that level. The next thing we're going to have you do, we cannot stress this enough, right-click, compare against game time. It's going to be set to real time when you download Livesplit. You need to make sure to compare against game time. What this allows for us to do is, say you want to load Vault to start a speedrun, it allows it to start at 53, which is how long you wait in the vault. This also allows us, if I can just beat this level. Actually, I'm just gonna grab the radio. It's a lot easier. If we beat this level, so you'll notice on my timer, as I'm about to beat this level in a couple seconds, you'll notice some things that happen. The timer paused during loads. This is specifically one of the reasons why we use game time, because it removes the load times. You'll also see that it split and it moved on to the next part of the timing, which is this level. This is really helpful because it allows you to keep track of golds and individual level like times, so you can compare against them later. So that's basically all you need to know for Livesplit. If you want to make it look pretty, there are tutorials online for how to set up Livesplit and like edit the layout and stuff. But I'm not going to go over that because it isn't a need for Portal speedrunning. The next thing that I'm going to go over, and this is why I made you put, well, I didn't make you put it. This is why I had you place, if I can just get to my Unpack, this is why I had you place the speedrun demo record in here, is recording demos to submit to speedrun.com. I go over the submission process in another video of mine, which you'll find in FAQ in the Portal Discord, #FAQ. It also allows you to do individual levels and time down to the millisecond how long it took you to beat the game. So, say I want to record my speedrun with just demos, which is an option up until top 10, in which after that you have to have demos and OBS recording with Livesplit. But if your PC isn't that good, or if you don't care to record your screen because you don't want like 3-hour long sessions filling up your hard drive, a big suggestion is just to record demos. The way that we would do this is by using speedrun_demo_record-2007. The catalyst to this is an Autoexec. So if you go into Unpack/Portal and you go into CFG Autoexec, you'll see I already have something in here. I'll put this in the description. When you open this initially, it will be blank. In the description, if you just copy this and put it in, and then you save it, every time you open the game, these commands will be executed, which will load the plugin, set a speedrun_save to vault, which is something I'll go over in a couple seconds, set the speedrun directory to demos, which basically means that every time that you do a run, it'll make a file in Portal/demos with all the demos in that run. You would then submit this folder with all the demos to speedrun.com for verification. CL show pause 1, which is this in the top corner. I think I went over this previously, but it just keeps you from having to type it in every single time. So every time you open the game, it'll run those commands. Alternatively, you can exec autoexec, which loads the plugin, sets the speedrun save in the directory. So what is speedrun_save? speedrun_save is the save that will load when you want to start a speedrun. So speedrun_save vault is good because that means that when you type speedrun_start, it will load. See, it says loading from save. It'll load you from vault. It'll also start the recording of demos to this folder. And if you PB on this run, you send in this folder. Every time you start a new run, it makes a new folder. You'd submit that alternatively to the demo, to the leaderboards. How am I restarting? How am I doing this? How am I starting a new run and recording demos at the same time? Well, that's what speedrun_start does. And the way we're going to do this so efficiently and effectively is we're going to bind a key to speedrun_start. I have p bound to speedrun_start. So bind p speedrun_start. And then when you hit p, it'll load vault, it'll start the recording of demos, all of that jazz. That really is the bare minimum that you need to get started speedrunning Portal effectively with demos and Livesplit. But I'm going to go over a couple more things now, which may aid you and assist you in your practice or your timing. So what is that plugin that I made you install? SPT, Source Pause Tool. I wonder what it could be. What it allows us to do is a couple different things. The main thing that people use it for is a command called _y. We first have to plug in _load SPT. The main reason people use it is to practice their save glitch, which is something used in inbounds and out of bounds. If we were to type into console _y _spt _overlay 1, it puts a different camera up into the top. This is really effective. If say I will map test chamber 02. What this camera in the top left does is it basically shows our body. I don't really want to explain save glitch. There's some hefty explanations online of what it is, but it's basically a separation between your body and your camera. So you can see in the top left that it gives where our portals are actually going to land. So if I shoot, my portal is going to land over there, right there, even though I shot this way. But we were actually right there, and we shot straight forward. So the most common, or the best way I can probably give this as an example is if I load into map escape 00. That shows the reason you would want to use this overlay to practice. So when you walk into this corner and get save glitched and hold S, you can see I have separated. The top camera is not what I'm seeing. If I were to get back into this corner, which is the first step of the tutorial, you can see if you were not to have this, you would have to blindly shoot during your practice. But with the overlay, it allows you to see exactly where it's going every time, which is something that is very helpful in practice for when you're practicing save glitches. So you can see it shows you exactly where you're shooting. Very helpful with practice. And it's mostly just for save glitch guides, or save glitch like routes. But it can be used for like oob routes. If you're having trouble finding a spot, or you're having trouble with a save glitch, it helps you visualize what's actually going on without having to shoot blindly. Ask the Discord for help if you need it. The document is a really, really useful guide for all of the levels and all the strategies. Again, if you're having issues, just asking the Discord. You'll have a mass amount of help within minutes, most of the time, for issues that you may be having. So that's basically that's all you need to get started speedrunning Portal. Just make sure you have Livesplit open every time you're doing runs. Just make sure that you put that stuff in your Autoexec. I don't really know what else to say. Thank you.